Hey everyone, welcome to Stories on Sunset. Um, this is a very interesting episode because this always takes place in Los Angeles, and at this time, it's there's a lot of things going on over there, which is saddening me at the moment because of just current events just happening. But hopefully everyone's safe out there, and you guys be careful. Um, but this story takes place at the old Key Club, um, and it's happened a couple years ago when I lived out there, and it ties into the very first episode of Stories on Sunset because the opening act was my friend Big Stat. He's a rapper from Connecticut, and he was on tour at the time. With Method Man, and so we became friends that night, and we kept in touch, and it was pretty cool just to know someone that lives out in Connecticut. But anywho, um, how that connects to this story is that I went and saw Method Man at the Key Club, uh, and I remembered seeing the late Papa Wu there because he noticed my pants. It had all the Wu-Tang logos on there, and my shirt and everything like that. I said hello, and Big Stat had told me what Method Man's manager's name was and what he looked like, and sent me like a friend request, or I sent him a friend request. It was a time where I didn't mind sending random friend requests on Facebook, which is I don't know, but but now I just don't accept those random friend requests or send them out anymore because it's just bizarre. Anywho, um, I go to the concert and it was awesome. Um, Method Man like never fails to amaze me when it's performances on stage. And a surprise visit was Redman because he was celebrating his birthday there, and and I introduced myself prior to the show to Method Man's manager, which happens to be Redman's manager too. And I ended up buying a bunch of merch as usual, and I got to meet Method Man's hype man. His name's Street Life at the booth, but I didn't recognize him at first until he was on stage with Method Man performing. But as I mentioned earlier, Redman was there too, and it happened to be his birthday, and they brought out a cake for him, which was really cool. And then um, Method Man's manager told me, "Hey, meet up with me back at this merch table after the show ends." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I was like front row as usual because there's no like there's you got to be there first to get like front row. I didn't have to cover the show, but I still had brought my journal in there and I wrote notes in there because I got into that mode where I have to write at every single concert, or else it was just a habit I couldn't break. And so after the show ended, I ended up going back to the merch table and reconnecting with Method Man's manager as I promised. And I brought my friends along that I met at the Wax show at the Troubadour. Um, and they noticed me, and we just stuck together the whole night and just looked out after each other and made sure nothing happened to us because we were just there by ourselves, just the three of us. But anywho, I we all I gathered my friends, and his manager was like, "So are these guys your pals?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're my pals." He goes, "You guys want to go meet Method Man?" And I'm like, "This is so awesome! Let's go meet Method Man." So the four of us walked downstairs into like the uh to like a hidden room in the Key Club, and I didn't know it existed, which is like all these venues have all these hidden rooms out in LA um that I thought I'd never have access to, and it's pretty awesome. But we get in line and we get to meet Method Man, and my friends go first, and I take a picture of them with Method Man, and then it was my turn, and the photo is blurry, so it's on my website too, at acutiepie.com. It's under the superhero tab of all that stuff. You'll see how blurry the photo is. Um, but I had my journal with me, and it said, "The pen is mightier than the sword," and it reminded me of like Liquid Swords by Jizza. Um, and he goes, "That's pretty cool, journal because it was leather and everything like that." And I said, "Yeah, every time I finish one, like every time I write in one of these, I give it to a close friend or a best friend." And that one happened to go to my best friend Jeff. And he goes, "Can I see it?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I handed over my journal, and just like Mark McGrath did last time, the last story, he autographs it. He goes, "To my bestie Jeff," and he wrote meth, and then he draw the Wu-Tang logo in it. And it was pretty awesome. And I joke with my best friend all the time about the cover of the journal because it says the pen is mightier than the sword, but pen is too close to the word is. And so I joke about how it says the penis mightier than the sword. So, uh, but he has that on his bookshelf, and every time like I go over, we just point out that the journal is on his bookshelf, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the time that I met Method Man, and definitely one of my favorite performers, along with the Red Man. Uh, and I remembered like seeing like Red Man in the like near the back of the room, and I was like, "Man, that's so cool. Red Man's over there," but I didn't want to ask for a photo. And then on my way out, like Street Life was getting into an argument with some random dude, and they escorted the dude out, which was great because I was like, "Man, just don't treat Street Life like that. He's a cool guy." Anywho, I ended up leaving and got my autograph, got my photo, thanked Method Man and Red Man's manager for making that awesome experience even cooler. And I went home, and so as I mentioned earlier, this is what I'm doing, is telling stories of my time as a concert journalist on Sunset Strip and Sunset Boulevard, and raising funds for all of my favorite venues, from LA to the Corazon Cinema and Cafe, which reminds me that on the 20th uh, of June, I am producing a 24-hour film festival there, and the owner, Carla, is fantastic. She lets me host my storytelling room there, so that's why I became a storyteller. And so I'm donating all the proceeds to her. All the links to the GoFundMe's and her link to her website and how you can donate by just buying films and watching them from home are all on the website. So check those out. And thanks for tuning in to Stories on Sunset. My name is Sareth. That's my story with Method Man, one of my favorite rappers of all time, MCs, if you will. And this is my SOS to the world. Take care of each other, especially during these times, and be safe out there, LA. And I'll look forward to seeing you in September. Have a good